The NFL season is here, and the Lockdown Defense Sports Network welcomes you to another NFL season. We're here to give you a front row seat to the pulse of the NFL. Join us every Tuesday night as we break down the latest news, dissect the hottest headlines, and fire off fearless predictions that might shape the future of the league. From the locker room drama to game-changing plays, we're just not watching football, we're living it. As the entire hit squad with young RG Robert Garcia, Coach Mike Dub, the real AG Alex Givens, and yours truly, Coach Defense, joins forces with the NFL Nation Live crew, Ref Guru, Violator, and the Saudi pirate himself, Captain Jack Rackham. So buckle up, because this isn't your average recap. This is the Lockdown Blitz, where the takes are bold, the insights are gritty, and the passion runs deep. Let's go. To all my heavy hitters and lockdown defenders, welcome to the Lockdown Blitz. I'm your host, Coach Defense, alongside our fellow Hit Squad members, Coach Mike Dub, Real AG Alex Givens, Young RG Robert Garcia, NFL Nation Live crew, Ref Guru, and the salty pirate himself, Captain Jack Rackham. Gentlemen, welcome to the show. You are now tuning into
the Lockdown Defense Sports Network.
Gentlemen, week one is in the books. And like I said in the short going into this week, the NFL didn't pull no punches. They came out swinging. A lot of controversial things going on in the NFL. A lot of wild and wacky things. Don't seem like nobody want to play defense in the NFL this week. But let's go around the room. Let's see how everybody's doing. Let's do a quick vibe check. Coach Mike Dub, young brother, how you feeling?
Feeling good. Victory week, short week for us. You know, we got a Thursday night game, but listen, I'm feeling good. It was a great week one.
Absolutely, absolutely. Young RG Robert Garcia, what's going on, good brother? How you feeling?
Oh, you already know how I'm feeling, Coach. It is the best feeling we could possibly have. Haven't felt this since 2021, so we are feeling great. Vibes all-time high right now.
I love it. I love it. I love it. Captain Jack Rackham, how you feeling out there, good brother? You got a different background this week. You look like you're traveling.
I am traveling, and I am at the great Hollywood Raiders house. You know, the guy that, other than Violator, the other guy that gets on TV all the time with the silver and black face paint.
Yes, indeed.
It's like the alternate ego white guy with the hard hat. Over here, it's Shea Hollywood. Having a good time over in South Carolina for the next another week or so or two. But, yeah, it's always a good time when you get the victory.
Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. Rev Guru, good sir, how you doing out there? How you feeling today on this lovely Tuesday evening?
Hey, I'm just here so I don't get fined. No, it was a good week one, and I'm glad most of our teams won, if you will. And here we are. We're rolling into week two already.
Yeah, we don't experience this a lot. You know, there's a lot of mixed emotions when it comes down to the idea of people winning games. You know, we almost had a unanimous vote, but we'll turn it over to the man himself, the real AG Alex Givens. How you feel about that, good brother?
Next. No, I'm kidding. I'm all right. You know, it's week one. So.
Right. You got 17 more to go.
We got a lot more to go, but, you know.
Yes. Yeah. On to Philly? We're on to Philly?
Yeah, on to Philly. Then, on to some other tougher opponents. So, we'll get into that. But, we're feeling all right.
Okay. Yes, indeed.
No, that was not a slight at Philly, ref. Sorry. I meant they just have a pretty crappy schedule at the start of the year.
Indeed. Yes, indeed. So, yes, we are here to Lockdown Defense Business live and direct each and every Tuesday night, 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Give you the hottest headlines, the edgiest takes, and we might jump out the window with a hot prediction or two before the show's over. So let's talk about some controversial things. As we got Ref Guru here for a quick second. So we're going to jump right into our weekly segment called let's ask the ref. So there's a few things that went on throughout the I guess you could say the weekend between Thursday and Sunday, even Monday a little bit. A couple of things I'm just kind of bubbling to my surface about that I want to kind of get his clarity on. First and foremost, it pains me to talk about this because it makes my skin crawl in all honesty. But we got to discuss the Jalen Carter situation. Now we did see the punishment handed out. They did treat his suspension like the game he missed entirely on Thursday night. He was fined pretty hefty. Did lose his game check on top of that. But from your perspective, please tell us, how you feel about the situation, and if you were in that position, would you have thrown him out of the game?
Well, of course, if you're a Dallas fan, you're cheering that whole thing. But here's the optics, that whole thing, from my perspective. And thanks for asking, by the way. First of all, the official that was in the area was the umpire. He should have been over there way sooner. He could have prevented that from happening. I don't know why they let an Eagles player wander across the line of scrimmage over into Dallas territory in the first place. So in a sense, I blame the officials for not getting in the way of that. The dead ball officiating is a must. You got a division game right there. You got to get in there. You got to get everybody on their side of the ball. That said, he got there late and he only saw what happened after Dak, whatever he did. We may never know the full story behind that, but I think there's a couple things there. They threw the flag, obviously, and the referee can decide if it's an ejectable foul or not. And I think they wanted to set the tone early. Pretty tough one when that's one of your better, defensive players, obviously. But I think, Coach, there's just a lot going on there. The short of it is the umpire should have been in there quicker. He wasn't. And then, the game hadn't even started yet. The officials, it's their first game. Nerves are running kind of high. You don't know if anything was said during pre-games. They could have observed other behaviors that was going on. We don't really know everything. All we can see is the optics of, an Eagles player getting thrown out. I can tell you there's probably a lot more of the story we'll never hear. But I think it probably should have been prevented, and unfortunately it wasn't. And we're on to week 2. That's all I can say about that.
Okay. Now, does anybody have the, I guess you can say, follow-up question to that particular question or answer he gave before we move on to the next incident I want to discuss?
Just me, Coach. And again, I know this isn't NFL quite related, but when you have an event like that with Jalen Carter, it's amazing that 2 days later, a Gator defensive lineman spits on a player from USF. And granted, it wasn't the ultimate way for the Gators to lose because they had another penalty which actually aided in that. But it's really stupid when you have a college player, the college players are watching what's going on in the pros. And for him to do that is beyond asinine. That's about all he's about.
Right after that game, too, like right after the national coverage of it, right?
Like very next day on a Saturday. That Saturday happened, right? Yeah, we'll talk. I'll get everybody's opinion on it as we talk about our headlines. But yeah, I just wanted to give refs official professional opinion on what he felt like that incident, how it transpired, how he would have handled it per se. The next one is it's a little bit of a controversial one from the Chiefs and the Chargers perspective. Now, when it comes down to the shoving match and the hand slap from Tierra Tart and Travis Kelce, in that particular instance, they kind of explained it on the broadcast. They said that it's another one of those questionable, discerning referee calls when the referee has the discretion to either throw them out or throw a flag, things of that nature. What was your take on that particular incident?
So Carter gets thrown out, and the other player doesn't. Here we go with inconsistency with the way that these officials are administering their games. Now you got 17 different crews and 100 and some officials. They're all going to look at things a little bit differently. How I would have handled both of those incidents, guys, all I can tell you is it's hard to give a definitive answer when we only see part of what happened. We don't know if there was something going on prior. We don't know if there was something going on when I say prior, like a play or two, or if there was, shouting match and marshmallows being thrown in pregame. We don't know. So we don't know how much the officials are tolerating up to a certain point where they finally just said, okay, enough's enough. But I think there's two issues in both of those. I think we saw inconsistency with regards to that. I think that if you can't not eject one if you don't eject the other, and vice versa. I think they were both objectionable. Whether or not players should be ejected, that's really, really, really subjective. But in both cases, I think if we're gonna look at the Eagles game and say that Carter should have been ejected, then the Chargers player should have been as well. But again, it's the optics are bad because we don't know what, if anything, these other officials have been witnessing prior to these events, which can impact their decision making going on there. The other thing too, did they flag that on the Charger player for slapping Kelsey?
Yeah,
okay.
Unnecessary roughness, I think. Or
okay, so 15 yards unnecessary roughness. Again, it's a subjective call as to whether or not he's ejected. But what I would tell you guys, probably what's going on there, and again, this is just my opinion, probably what's going on there, you got an international game. They don't want to throw a player out in an international game. I think it's total optics in that one.
Okay. Yeah, because I actually got some intel this afternoon about a separate incident because they had Derwin James mic'd up and they did some footage. And they said there was an incident between, I believe it was Isaiah Pacheco and another player where Isaiah Pacheco threw a punch at the player. And there's kind of like I guess you can say one is good for the goose, good for the gander. Like we let one go, we let the other one go kind of thing. But I would look into that. But I actually want to ask you too, is the crew? Do you think these things remain inconsistent from that perspective? There's Carl Shepard's crew, there's Sean Smith's crew. Those two different crews call things differently down the line.
Absolutely.
Sure. Okay.
And it's really, the NFL is going to set the broad scope of what's acceptable and what isn't. But it's up to each, like the city council sets the laws. It's up to the individual policeman that pulled you over, whether he's going to write you a ticket or he's going to say, well, do better next time. It's a subjective thing, and I think that in the Friday game, honestly, there was probably a lot of stuff going back and forth there. There's two big points here. They got to do better dead ball officiating, or you got to get in there and tell these players to knock it off. Get with the coaches, tell them to tell the players to knock it off, or you got to start throwing some flags. But I just think that the issue with Friday was it's an international game. They didn't want to throw somebody out.
Gotcha. Okay.
Fair.
All right. Does anybody get any feedback on that before we move on?
Yeah, for the Tart thing, I just want to say I think the explanation they gave on air was absolutely crazy, and it would have been better if they just didn't try to explain why he didn't get ejected. Because for the guy to say, well, because it was an open hand, just a slap, it's not an objectionable offense, and I'm like, what?
Because they don't know. You're right. They should just if they don't know, they should leave it alone. And they got to bring in, they need to bring in a former referee to help soften that up for them or something. But yeah, you're right. The announcers don't have a clue.
I thought the referee.
I think it was a ref guy. I think it was a ref guy. I couldn't tell you. It wasn't one of the normal ones, but I think YouTube had their own. I would also add the whole YouTube production thing. Some of it I was like, this is kind of nice, but then some of it I'm like, this is just awkward as hell. Like Cam Newton did not need to be doing the pregame thing. He had like no input. Derek Carr, I kind of liked what he did, but he was so you could just stick his hand in his pocket the whole time. Like it was crazy. I don't know if it was Dean
I thought it was
not.
Gene. I thought it was Gene Steratore. I don't think it was either one associated with the big networks. I think it was YouTube's own guy.
Gene's with CBS, isn't he, or something?
Yeah,
it wouldn't be unusual for someone to double up like that, but it would seem odd that one of the major networks would loan one of the referees. But whoever was out there, you guys got the best one out there. So no, I'm just kidding. But I agree with you on the whole YouTube thing.
He doesn't like the Chiefs ever since Arrowhead made him cry a few years ago.
Wow.
Hey, remember, index card Steratore would not have been given up to CBS.
Yeah. I'll see if I can figure out who that was.
Well,
Yeah.
whoever it was, they did kind of like.
I was like, dude, you just should have not said anything, because now I'm just more
Yeah.
like, what the hell? Because then I even looked at the rule, and by the rule, it was an objectionable or
absolutely.
offense, and I'm like,
yeah. But again, it's an
you know,
international
attorney
game,
talk.
and that whoever if whoever what it was said that, I'm not saying it didn't, because I believe what you said, but I didn't witness it myself. But if that's what they said, there's no other explanation for that. Just the referee said we're not going to do that in an international game. I just really feel like that was the bottom line.
Hey, since we got a lawyer on here, I mean, if you have an open hand slap in a case of and I'm going to say a man
assault
to a woman, it's assault. It doesn't matter if it's open hand or not. It's an assault.
Even if it's a man to a man.
Well, I'm just
Pause
saying,
if needed with that.
I understand, not that there's anything necessarily wrong with that,
There's not, but I just, I need to note a pause if a pause needed to be noted for the record.
Oh my God.
Yeah, open hand had nothing to do with it.
It's a pimp smack versus a punch. When that's what we're discussing, right? It was Terry McCauley. They called it Dizaz. Terry McCauley.
There we go. Yeah.
There you go. All right. Good research on the fight. Ladies and gentlemen, appreciate that. But yes, I definitely want to get your feedback on those two particular things. Alex, did you want to talk about the Titans roughing before we go?
Ref. I don't know if you caught that, but I guess it was an unnecessary roughness call as well on Jeffrey Simmons in the Titans-Broncos game that basically saved the Broncos out of like 3rd and 20. And, I don't know what they did after that, but I don't know if you saw that penalty. To me, I was just curious as a ref what you saw that would be the unnecessary roughness components.
Yeah, I did not see that play. I'd have to see that play. And give you more on that. If you happen to know what quarter and at approximate time that play was, I might be able to look it up.
It was definitely the fourth quarter. I don't have the timestamp on it, but I'll find it for you. I'll send it to you, and we'll get your take on it later on. Maybe
who was the player they called it on?
Jeffrey Simmons.
And what position does he play?
D tackle. Yeah.
Okay, so they called it on the defensive tackle.
But he was a ball carrier. They tackled him, taking him he was in the process of taking him to the ground, and Simmons basically pushed the other guy that was tackling the ball carrier to get him on the ground. I mean, synopsis of it. It wasn't like a questionable hit on a QB in the pocket, something like that. It was like a running back or wide receiver made a football move, gained some yards, and was getting tackled, and Simmons, Yeah,
because the other thing we want to know when we watch that is who threw the flag. Because what I want to know when you guys, just so you know, if we were reviewing this play together, one of the things we'd be looking at too was not only what we're seeing, and we might not have all the angles, but who threw the flag, because who threw the flag is going to give us some indication of what their visibility was, right? Because if that came from the umpire, right, who's across from the referee, I might be a little skeptical that they could see that. If it came from somebody else, one of the down judge or line judge, maybe they'd have a better look at it. Better not come from one of the deeps. I mean, the back judge seems like it would be an odd angle. So I think we want to take a look at the play, and we also want to know whose flag it was.
Gotcha. Okay.
Yeah.
Because the angle because I've been in all these positions, and and Cap knows it when we've talked about this on previous shows. The angle that you see on TV is not the angle you get from the ground, but oftentimes I can give you insight as to what that angle should be and whether or not that official, if that was even their primary keys or not. So there's a lot of detail in that, and that might be a really interesting one to take a look at.
Well, it also depends upon if they had their seeing eye dog out there or just white.
Oh boy!
All right, so it was in the fourth quarter, 2:58 left.
Okay, there we go.
All right, 2:58 for. I'll see if I can find that on 360, and then I can report back to you guys. I know it'll be a week late, but it might be worth taking a look at, and I'll see if there's something there I can help.
I'm watching to see if I can see where the flag came from.
Gotcha.
All right, so so while we review that, let's move on to our topic, first topic of the day. So starting off here, as we got into week one, Finally got some, righteous football from every avenue. Everybody's team has played at least one game now. That actually counts. So, we made, quite a few predictions, a lot of takes, a lot of analysis, things of that nature have gone into our preparation for the season. But let's talk about the NFL recap. We're going to a segment we call Week to Week Logic, where you were right and where you were wrong. So we'll go around the room real quick and give us a take of where you either felt like you were, blatantly right or blatantly wrong. And then we'll get everybody's opinion on that before we get on to our headlines for the day. So, Coach Mike Dove, where you like to begin, and where you went right or where you went wrong in your week-to-week logic?
All right, so I'll start off. First and foremost, where was I wrong? I was completely wrong with my Aaron Rodgers and Steelers take. I mean, listen, but based on my logic, I looked like Boo Boo the Fool after week 1 because Aaron Rodgers looked amazing. Aaron Rodgers, the Steelers, the offense, they didn't look like he wasn't there at all for the offseason. They didn't look like he was, 40-something years old, almost 50. They didn't look like they didn't have a bona fide number 2 wide receiver. They didn't look like they didn't have any type of offensive plan as far as building their roster. They looked like a pretty solid team that may be a contender going into. And, of course, this is week 1. This is complete overreacting. But I will say I was wrong on my Aaron Rodgers take. And what I was right about is, I don't know if you guys remember, in the offseason, we did a video on the effects of losing your coordinators. I said that Detroit was going to take a step back, take a few steps back, and they definitely looked like they did. They looked out of sync, both on offense and defense. They didn't look like the Detroit we've seen in the past few years. And, of course, you can attribute that to them losing their coordinator. So I'll split it 50-50, both ways. But I will say I was completely on the other side of things. Did not expect Aaron Rodgers to come out and light it up like that. So shout out to him. All I can say.
All right. Now, Captain Jack Rackham, I know that in your infinite wisdom, you don't feel like you're wrong a lot. But how do you feel about your week-to-week logic here in week 1?
You are correct, sir. But like author Fonzarelli, I've never been Fonzie me or just like that. We've never been.
You can't even say it. To get your religion.
Hey, that was the program, man. Come on, man. Go back to the 80s or 70s when this show was on.
I know who Arthur Fonzarelli is. I'm just, maybe me, it might be me, Ref, and you, but that.
But I would say that no. You know what? I once thought I was wrong, but I was mistaken. So I just would have to change to the what I was mistaken about. I actually, what I was mistaken about is I didn't realize how bad the Dolphins could be. I mean, and to a team, this is a double mistaken. Okay, it's how bad the Dolphins looked and how overpowering a team like the Colts looked. I mean, that just totally blew my mind on both counts. There you go.
For real, yeah.
He did something that not even
MVP after week 1,
Right.
Remember, it's still week 1. So they got some time yet. And again, all of these teams continue to be crappy until after the Raiders play them. Then they can get their stuff.
That part. Yeah, that part. Okay.
Chicago can be as bad as they were last night until week 5 because we play in week 4. Indy, we play in week 5, so they can get their stuff together week 6. You understand where I'm going with that?
Yeah, I'm completely following you. Gotcha.
We got the logic. Yeah.
Okay.
Even the lawyer got it. That's amazing.
Yeah, right. There you go.
Well, my whole profession is grounded in logic, so I would hope that I would.
I hope you get it. Listen, we got both here.
That's amazing.
Indeed. Okay. All right. Young RG, I'm waiting to hear this one because you, my friend, have grown a lot of interest in the offseason about your hot takes. So please tell us where you were right and where you were wrong in your week-to-week logic.
Yes. So we'll start out with the obvious. Obviously, Chargers taking the dub against the Chiefs. That had been my prediction pretty much since the start of the offseason and since the start of the offseason videos that we did, we went, division by division, team by team. This had been, my win that I had penciled in pretty much since the draft. So I'll go ahead and take as Cap does, take my little pat on the back there, because I'm pretty sure I was the only one. But maybe you did too, Coach. I could be wrong, but I might have been the only one here who took the Chargers to win that game.
We didn't even have to discuss it. I'm fine with the boys.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think it's a big shocker you pick your team to win.
No, I know that, but I'm just saying that.
Technically, I abstained. Okay, I abstained. I was like Al Davis in the regular meetings. I abstained from that
game.
But yeah, and as far as where I was wrong, man, I might have gotten JJ McCarthy totally wrong. The Vikings might be serious threats if he can essentially he needs to take that fourth quarter and extrapolate it out for an entirety of a game, and he will
got that dog in him though.
He's got that dog, and that's the thing that really, obviously he played, pretty bad for 3 quarters, but when they needed him most, when the team, he needed to put the team on his back, he led a furious comeback, and that showed me a lot against a divisional opponent. Were they on the road? Were they in Chicago?
Yeah.
They were in Chicago, right? Yeah. On the road.
See the condition of that thing, dude?
Okay, my bad.
Terrible.
Yeah.
So, on the road, basically first ever real, NFL action in the regular season. He certainly impressed me. So, Vikings fans,
first game in like 2 years.
Yeah, exactly. Like coming off an injury, like Vikings fans will definitely probably come at me for the predictions I gave for them. But he they may look like they have finally found their franchise QB. I'll just say that.
Actually, it was basically a year because he had gotten hurt in the preseason. I understand, according to the guys I was listening to, they could be I don't know, but they said that when he played the Bears like a year ago, and that's when he got hurt in a preseason game. So again, if that's what I'm hearing, maybe they're wrong, but I've just
I did. It was really early in preseason, but it wasn't like a regular season game. That's what I meant.
Gotcha. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. The real AG Alex Givens. What is your week-to-week logic and where you were right and wrong in your predictions for the week 1 games?
Yeah, well, I guess I'll just address the elephant in the room.
Hey, stop talking about my weight.
Well, I was obviously wrong about the Chiefs winning, but you guys know I'm going to ride with my team, so I wasn't going to say. I'm not going to say they're going to lose a divisional game in a division that they've won for 9 straight years. So, until they don't win that, then I'll start. Maybe. Reverting to my old self and not having any faith in them winning any game. But, I was wrong about that. I was definitely wrong about the Dolphins. I think even on our fantasy pod, again, shameless plug for that, but I said the Dolphins defense would be a primo stream for week 1, and it looked like total ass, just across the board, but defense especially. So, certainly wrong about that game. I was also wrong about the old Dirty Birds beating the Bucks. I thought that was going to go a totally different way, and Emeka Egbuka, I guess, is him. So I don't know if you've seen, but he called his shot at the end of the game to win it, and they got a guy there, at receiver, and yeah. So I was wrong about that game, and I guess where I will say I'm right, and it's not really like I was right in week 1, but I'm going to stand on my overly hot take that I think the Titans are going to make some noise in the South. Texans didn't look that great, I know, as the Rams, but I mean they didn't have a very high flying offense. Colts, I'm not. It's week 1, but I think Daniel Jones will revert back to the old Daniel Jones at some point. Jags played the Panthers, and like I said, I was pretty. Yeah, exactly. But I was pretty impressed with Cam Ward against the Broncos defense, and for his first game,
he was balling. He just can't catch.
And literally, like if like Cool Kev said, I mean, if there's receivers can catch, we might be talking about them stunning a Broncos team in week 1. And I mean, he made some hard, difficult pause there, but he made some difficult throws. He put in some really tight windows on some throws that only a few guys in the league can make. So. Again, for getting thrown into the fire week 1 against one of the best defenses in the league and doing what he did with what's on the roster, I think they can make some noise in their division. I'm going to stand on that take.
Okay. All right. Before I get my takes, Ref, do you want to chime in here, or you just listening for the accountability? I guess you can say.
No, I'll give a quick one before I take off. Thanks again for having me on the show. I don't really remember who I picked and who I didn't pick because I had a Mountain Dew since last week. But I may have been a little early on the Cowboys being on the clock, but I think I missed on the Dolphins. They probably are on the clock. I'm disappointed in the Falcons. It's the game that they should have won, but kudos to Tampa Bay. For pulling that out. And then I thought the Panthers looked awful. If they're going to fix something down there and as you guys have said, make any noise in their division, they better figure it out. They better figure it out fast because we don't know what New Orleans is going to do this week against so 49ers team, if you will. But it'll be the NFC South is going to be interesting. But, Tampa Bay is essentially on top at this point. Kudos to the Bucks for pulling that out. But, congratulations to the Raiders. That opening drive and then really much didn't do squat. I'm not sure if the Raiders won it or New England gave it away, so to speak. But, it's like you all said, it's week 1. I think we got to be into week 5 before we really start seeing where everybody's at and where people are scoring. I'll have more to say once I have some additional stats. On who's given up more points than they're scoring. But at this point, it was a pretty wild and interesting week 1, and we're ready for week 2.
All right. Point of parliamentary procedure, please, for the lawyer in the house. Okay. I will say that I was mistaken about the Falcons, so I'll take the hit on that. Yeah. And I will say, again, for parliamentary procedure, Ref, did you watch the second half of the Raiders game? They just took it to the Patriots, and the great thing was that their offense basically scored 0 until like that chippy 3 at the end. So you, sir, are wrong. I'm just saying it.
Well, I don't know if they even threw any flags on New England, did they?
Yeah, they had a ticky-tack, a personal, what do you call it, pass interference. You want to look at a penalty that was BS? Look in the first half of a pass interference call where Caillou Blue or Kelly, whatever, had wrapped up the guy, and he was following him, and all he did, he was on him. He even looked back for the ball, and they said it was pass interference. Even a Patriots fan that was sitting close to us said, "Yeah, that's a bullshit call."
Yeah, it was. That's Tuck real bad there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, I got a laundry list of things I was right on. I'm just cleaning up here. I said,
brag about it.
I first of all, I went lone wolf on the Tampa Bay Buccaneers and I picked.
You did,
and I was right.
You did.
I was right. The Eagles pass rush, I was right. I talked about it in our biggest headlines. That was my biggest headline, my biggest concern about them. And what did they do after night touching Dak Prescott all night Thursday night? Went out and got his Zadarius Smith the very next day because they realized that pass rush isn't where it needs to be. Now, I will say this: where I was wrong at, I want to, curb my enthusiasm for the New England Patriots and the Carolina Panthers because I think me and RG both thought that they were better in week 1 than they were. And I don't know what was Bryce Young's issue. I don't know what happened, from last year, week 18 versus now, but it's looking pretty good. It's looking pretty bad. But I hopefully they will turn it around. But for right now, I'm going to curb my enthusiasm or rein my take back on them being hot and being a threat in their divisions this year. So yeah, that's why I leave my right and wrong at. But yeah, I'm definitely looking forward to seeing what Mecca Ibuka does because I was right about him as well. You know, he drafted him in fantasy just because I knew he was going to be a dog. And I just don't. I feel bad for Chris Godwin because I don't know who's going to throw the ball because Mike Evans is going to take all the targets. So
right. I will say Tampa Bay definitely felt the absence of Liam Cohen in the running game with Baker Mayfield being the leading rusher at 39 yards. Baker Mayfield was the leading rusher. And then what? Travis Etienne had like his most rushing yards ever.
So bad that they traded away Tank Bigsby. Like, we don't need you.
Yeah, that is a fantastic addition for the Eagles, by the way.
Yeah.
Tank Bigsby
like,
going
Chiefs,
to Philly.
what are you doing? You know, like, what are we doing? I said, why is Philly making all these moves? They don't even need them. Half of the guys they trade for. They made like 7 trades this offseason for guys that it's almost like they just get guys so the other team can't play them.
Oh, it's 100% what Howard does. 100%.
Yeah, definitely.
It's like in fantasy, like a horde 5 quarterbacks.
Welcome to Philly, Tank. You're never going to see the field, but you're going to look good on the sideline.
Go over there and return kicks. Yeah. Right. Okay. All righty. So let's move on here. So we're gonna get into our weekly segment. So we talked about it briefly, but I definitely want to get everybody a quick takes on the Jalen Carter situation. So in getting into our segment, we call if I can find my video here.
Hit Squad headlines.
All right, so we're gonna get into our headlines of the week. So who I had on first on the docket is the Jalen Carter situation. So I cringe, just making my skin crawl talking about it. I don't deal in that kind of thing, and I don't think anybody ever should. Honesty, but just give everybody's perspective on it, and the overall penalty, because we have some resolution to it now. He will play next week. He's got fined, lost his game check. He didn't play in the game one, although it didn't cost the Eagles the game. So the real AGL is give me a quick take on this. How do you feel about it? Do you think this was just? Do you think they took a light on him? What do you think about the incident in its entirety?
I don't know. I mean, I may be a little biased because my squad is playing them this upcoming week, and he absolutely feasted in the Super Bowl against the offensive line, and he'll probably do the same in week 2. But I know I said in our chat, earlier today, I kind of thought it was wild he didn't get suspended for another game, but that made me just me. And I mean, I can't recall a time I've ever seen another player spit directly on another person in a dead zone of the game, right on camera in front of everyone. So. And I mean, literally before any actual gameplay happened for the NFL season, we had a player get hurt and a guy spit on someone and get ejected. And then we started actual football, Right. So to me, that was just crazy. But hey, it is what it is. I guess, yeah. I mean, they call his suspension or missing game 1 enough of a penalty for what he did. And we'll just move on now and see if he does anything else.
Okay. Fair enough. Coach Mike Dub, what is your take on the situation?
Yeah, it's messy all around. I will say, obviously, something had to be done to Jalen Carter, completely wrong in what he did. But I also think that Dak should have been held to some type of responsibility, whether it be a fine or something. Maybe not to the same extent, but on the football side of things. Look, one thing everybody knows, defensive linemen, in order to be a good defensive lineman, you got to have a screw loose. All defensive linemen have, some screws loose. And Dak knew what he was doing. He knew he was inciting something that would have went one or two ways. Either he was going to get, it was a temperature check, essentially. It was either he was going to get a reaction out of him, or it was going to be a mark in my territory on your field. First game of the season, it is what it is. So one of the two was going to happen. It's a mental game. But I think he was going to have to pay for it, one way or another. So, I do think obviously Jalen Carter had to have some type of accountability, but I would have liked to see that get fined as well. And just, hold some, you can't push a guy with a screw loose and expect for him not to pop off, especially a D lineman. Okay. In my opinion, I mean, the spit was bad. He's lucky he didn't try to take his head off on a crazy hit to drive him into the ground, anything like that. So, but it was a messy situation all around.
Okay. Yeah, Alex, I think that Jalen Carter missed an opportunity. And I'm gonna throw a little comedic satire in here. So you should have just went to the ref and be like, "Whoa, man, whoa, Tiger got out of the cage, man. I'm sorry."
Right? Hey, man.
Tiger got out of the cage,
I would
man.
have just been like, no, I just was talking too much. Like spit flew out. I didn't spit on him. It just came out. That's
Okay, just say it, don't spray it.
I got a list. It's
a premature spit.
Yeah, that's what she said with you, Alex, right?
Premature spit.
Wide open. Wow, you left that wide open.
I don't see the punchline there, but hey.
You know?
I think the joke would be me saying that to someone, not them. But hey.
Oh man. Wow. Yes, indeed. But yes, he should have said Tiger got out of the cage, man.
Yeah.
Merchant Street, guys. Merchant Street. Yes, yeah. But I think that was the issue. Like, to Mike Dull's point, he he definitely, banging on the lion cage at the zoo, hoping that the lion don't get out. That kind of thing. Captain Jack Rackham, what is your thoughts on the Jalen Carter incident?
Actually, a couple. It's amazing that the NFL, which has a propensity to giving breaks to the Kansas City Chiefs, i.e. making sure Rashee Rice is back for the game where they're playing the Raiders, it just that suspension to hit the commute just before they play the Raiders. It's amazing that they didn't suspend Jalen Carter for the next game when they're playing the Chiefs. That is amazing. Blows my mind. Like, oh my God, you can actually help the Chiefs out, but you're going to do a solid. Good for you, NFL. I'm good on that. And
it almost discredits everything you've said to me the past 3 years about refs and Chiefs.
Not.
I
But I will say that I agree with Coach Dub. Hey, Dak knew what the hell he was doing. He knew what the hell he was doing. Refs said it at the beginning. The officials are the reason why that got overblown, because he was not doing his job. If he was doing his job and been in the right place to stop Carter from being that far over the line of scrimmage, it wouldn't have happened. And if it wouldn't have happened, we really wouldn't be talking about it. So that's an NFL referee screw up as well. So what were we saying? Terry McCauley? Yeah, you screwed up, dude. Just saying.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Young RG, Robbie Garcia, what you got over there about the Jalen Carter incident?
Yeah, nothing that nobody else has already said. Pretty much agree with what, the general consensus around the room. I think his quote unquote game suspension opening week, I think that was serviceable enough. I don't think he deserved to get another game on top of that, just to the point of like what Coach Mike said. Dak instigated it. Dak sort of started the whole thing. And I know the retaliator is always the one who ends up being punished in those situations.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously, that's the case here where Dak doesn't even get a fine. But I think it would have been a little bit extreme to suspend Jalen Carter for another game on top of him essentially being suspended for that one. I think taking him out of this first game is a little bit more detrimental than like, let's hypothetically say they let him play. Let's say they don't eject him for whatever reason after he does that, and then come away after the game, they suspend him afterwards. I think then that would be something. But the fact of, like I mentioned, he got the game right before kickoff. Eagles are fully expecting to have him for the entirety of opening kickoff, and then bam, he's gone. It's like, oh. So, if anything, that should have been the Cowboys' chance to grab the momentum and run with it. Ultimately, they weren't able to.
That's funny,
that is funny but painfully true.
Right.
But he's not suffering for $60 million a year. I'll say that for Dak.
There's a lot of conversation for the suffering. Yes.
A lot of cover. Yeah, but no state income tax. I digress.
Right.
But yeah, I will join the general consensus on this. That the one game he got was worth it. Let him, give him the game check. I'm fine with that. Let him ride for the rest of it.
Yeah, well, I'm a abstain from commenting because that whole thing, that's one of the things that grinds my gears for sure. It's one of the worst things that you could ever do to somebody, football or not. We might sweat on each other, we might bleed on each other, but listen, don't take any type of fluids out of your mouth and inject it onto mine. We no longer playing football or anything like that at that point. It's a whole different ball game. And if Dak is a better man than me, that's all I'm gonna say. Because the Cowboys would have needed a new quarterback that day, personally, if I was in that situation. So it is what it is. It is what it is. But yeah, we'll see how things shake out. We'll see what Jalen Carter does about himself. But I will say this though, and I think we talked about this at the onset of the incident in our chat, is that I think that his incident here, and coupled with the quote unquote bad press he got at Georgia, could definitely adversely affect him being one of the highest paid defensive players when his contract's up. They're going to look at that. I think they're going to look at that you being being problematic in more than one case. And then, it'll get brought up in conversation when we talk about contracts, whether he's an all-pro, whether he has, a bunch of Pro Bowls and Super Bowls on the resume or not. I think that he will ultimately have to, atone for that incident. It might cost him some money, in all honesty. So we'll see how things flow down the road. For sure.
Coach, along those lines, and I appreciate you reminding me of this, it cost Ndamukong Suh when he started becoming a free agent. A lot of people were looking at him like, this guy is just an unchained maniac who does stupid things at stupid times. Remember, he stomped on a quarterback's helmet at the time.
Did it more than once.
Yeah, ankles, everything.
It cost him money. It cost him, commercials and things like that. So ultimately, he's going to cost himself in the pocketbook, sir.
I agree. I definitely agree with that. So it definitely will come up in conversations with Howie Roseman for sure.
Yeah.
For sure.
I think, because what do you have, 3 years left, rookie deal, right? Two, maybe?
No,
two in fifth year, or two with the fifth year?
Yeah, this is his third year, I think. So next year will be his fourth year and then the fifth year option. So he got 2 years left after that.
I'd say he's at the fork in the road where he's got to clean up his act and not have anything else come up in game off field, and he'd probably be all right if he continues to produce the way he does.
Right.
But yeah, I don't disagree. But like I said, wait and see if something else happens with him.
Okay. All right. In the same vein to talk about Thursday Night Football, it was a lot of chatter about with the teams going in different directions. Michael Parsons was traded. We thought Dallas was going in the tank. Ref wanted to put him on the clock before the game even started, but they actually played pretty well, in my opinion. I mean, I think they took them to the brink, and I think we all can agree to that. And I think the Eagles, again, with the lackluster pass rush, kind of kept the Cowboys in it, and they didn't look, swimmingly efficient offensively. Are we hurting from the Kellen Moore offensive coordinator change, things of that nature? So give me your highs and lows in regards to what you thought about the game on Thursday night. Let's start with Coach Mike Dub.
Yeah, I mean, you mentioned it with everything that went down, all the press, all the pregame stuff. The Cowboys were 2 drops away from winning that football game. You know what I mean? With CeeDee Lamb. So, if I'm a Cowboy fan, if I'm anybody in the Cowboys organization, I'm not going to say we don't do moral victories. We're not encouraged by a loss, but the fact that we're right there, that shows you that, we have all the tools that we have. We have all the tools that we need to be able to compete with, of course, the defending Super Bowl champions. So, it's not like they were going out there and they were completely blown out the water. They were on the road against the defending champions. A banner was dropped, all this stuff going against them. And they were right there. They competed. So, I think that the Cowboys, just like always, they're going to have a team that is, either hot or cold. They're never going to be on one end of the spectrum too far. It's just, can they complete the pieces? So if I'm the Cowboys, I'm not hitting the panic button. I think that they'll be fine. There were some encouraging things that we saw from them, but if I'm Philly, I mean, I don't take too much from this game one way or another. They're a veteran team. They're going to ride things. They know it's a week by week thing. This is a team that can have a close game one week, and then the next week they'll blow another team out. They've been there before. So, but yeah, I think it was an overall good game. Dallas, it shouldn't be too much of an overreaction from their perspective.
Okay, good stuff. Captain Jack, how do you feel about the Thursday Night Football game?
I'll keep it quick because I think Coach Dub got basically most of my points. CeeDee Lamb catches those balls. It's a different game. And there's really much to say. Carter was not the reason why the Eagles won, and he was not the reason why the Eagles lost. It was the fact that the Cowboys were afforded an opportunity, and they could have and should have taken advantage of it, and they just did not.
Okay, good stuff. Young RG, how you feel about Thursday Night Football?
Yeah, same thing. Agreeing, with Coach and what Cap said. The Cowboys should definitely feel very encouraged after that loss. Sucks. It's a divisional loss, so those kind of feel like 2 L's in one when you take them. But I also feel like they should be very confident in themselves moving forward. Obviously taking a look at the rest of the division, the Commanders obviously look good, but it is the Giants, and then obviously it's the Giants. Yeah, I was gonna make a joke about CB doing his best QJ impersonation this week, but
it's like Space Jam, dude. He touched the ball.
I don't know why you'd ever want to try to sap the skill out of Quentin Johnston for whatever that's worth, but
maybe it's the opposite because Quentin Johnston looked all right.
Yeah, I mean, maybe it might be a Freaky Friday case where they switch bodies now, and because I think Quentin Johnston's even a little fantasy plug. He's the highest scoring wide receiver right now currently, which is just absolutely mind blowing after week 1. But yeah, so
I'm sure he dropped his phone when he saw that.
I'm sure. Pun intended. I like that.
It's funny you said Freaky Friday though, RG, because I saw on Twitter, the little Dickie song Freaky Friday. They changed it. I woke up in CD Lamb's body. That's pretty good.
That's good stuff. That's good stuff.
But yeah, so I feel like it was just Cowboys should be excited, should be encouraged for this season. Javonte Williams, I was shocked at the amount of success that he had, and he had it very early on. If you would have told me that Javonte Williams was going to score the first 2 touchdowns of the Cowboys season, I would have told me you are insane.
Yeah.
But here we are.
Right.
So I don't know who they take on this upcoming week. The Cowboys do.
I could tell you right.
Give me 1 second.
Giants.
Okay, so
they're looking good.
They should look pretty good. Giants, put up 6 points this week, and they are praying that Russell Wilson is the starting quarterback.
He is.
I did read that Dayball was in the owner's office, pleading for them to start Dart. But I don't know.
That's weird that he doesn't have that ball.
I don't know.
Mara? Really?
Well, I don't think he's got control because the ownership is probably looking at him like, "Hey, this is your last investment. This is your last year to prove something to us. Tell us why you should stay."
Yeah, well, I guess him and what's I would say his name so much I don't forget it.
Shane
Shane.
Joe Shane.
Joe Shane. Yeah, they probably took all the power away from them after the Saquon thing.
On his last meatball.
That's fun. Cool, Kevin. That's hilarious. Y'all on fire today because Mike Dub talking about QJ dropped his phone. Dropped his phone. That is
he was quick with it too.
That was good. Dayball on his last meatball. Yes, I definitely agree with that. But yeah, so Alex, you got anything to add to this before we move on?
No. RG took the 1 point I was waiting on, so I had to check that off. But yeah, they had a solid run game. I will wait and see when Javonte gets hurt because that will probably inevitably happen, just with his history. And we'll see where it goes from there. But you won't hear me say this much, so I will just say it. But thank you, Philly, for not letting Jerry and the Cowboys win because all he would hear this week is how right he was about needing to trade Micah. And I will note that I think Philly made a point of Jerry talking about they traded Micah because they need to stop the run, and then they went out and put 160 rushing yards on him. And apparently they also need to contain the QB because Jalen Hurts is just able to do whatever he wants with his feet.
Yeah,
Pause again. But yeah, no, I thought Cowboys looked a lot better than I thought they would. And Eagles, like you said, had some questions with pass rush. I think some of that is just the effect of Jalen Carter not being out there because undoubtedly when that guy's out there, you gotta basically have 2 linemen account for him, which opens up the edge pressure, easier. And so I think we'll definitely see, unfortunately, here in week 2 against my Chiefs, a much better pass rush presence for the Eagles with Carter being out there. But yeah, they definitely aren't the same defense they had last year. That's for sure.
Yeah. I although I'm ashamed of him right now. As a person, I don't envy Trey Smith and Creed Humphreys having to block him next week.
No.
I don't.
Oh, I mean, if they're smart, they'll put him over Kingsley Sumatea.
He had his woes on Friday. I saw that. Yeah, he definitely had his woes. Because Khalil Mack beat him clean on one of those plays, and it was not pretty.
Nope.
Yeah,
that was the big bomb to Marquise Brown. The only reason Mahomes had to scramble was because Kingsley didn't even stop Khalil Mack. It was just a free run. It was
he didn't even have the courtesy.
It's like when you play two-hand touch, dude. He used his one. I don't have to count to 3. I could just instantly blitz, you know?
Yeah. He greeted him like a bellhop in front of a hotel. He said, come on in,
like
sir.
I said, as an offensive lineman, I at least have the courtesy to go, look out. That's a lookout
didn't
block.
do that either.
Didn't do that.
It's funny you say that. We had in college, we had this one left. He was god-awful. But in film one time, he gave up. He had this Olay sack, and the coach is just ripping in him. And he said, I told Fink, who's the QB, he's like, I told Fink, look out. And he's like, are you fucking kidding me? Needless to say, he didn't play anymore after that.
You're right. That's good stuff. But yeah, I think that I think the Eagles and Cowboys actually ironically could take a lot away from this game. I think that positive and negative, but I think they could take a lot away from this game. And again, more of a competitive matchup than we thought that we were going to get on Thursday night for sure. We'll see how things shake out. And to be transparent, clearly it's going to be, it's never going to live up to the hype based upon who's running it, according to, a la Jerry Jones. But the Cowboys don't have a bad roster, and I've been high on their line picks in the past 3 to 4 years. I mean, the Tylers, Cooper Beebe,
pretty good.
Yeah, so I think they got the makings of something good here, and I will give Brian Schottenheimer a lot of credit because I dog walked him in the offseason about how I don't know if he can even coach or call plays in the NFL because he hadn't been a head coach or actual play caller in years, and not ever up until now in the NFL especially. So
he's got the blood of Marty running through him.
That might be what it is. Marty's channeling him from the netherworld of the Force, but yes, I think that. Yeah, he definitely impressed me with his play calling because I was not expecting that at all.
Marty's a Sith Lord. He attached himself to his son.
The essence transfer in his body.
Yeah.
Yes.
There's always two: an apprentice and a master.
That's it. That is it. He's out dirty Star Wars talk. He's that, But yes, but we'll see how things go. But definitely a good showing. We'll see what they do in week 2 for sure. Yeah. All right, moving on down the line, let's talk about the unexpected. So week 1 is in the books, and there was a lot of surprises and a lot of unexpected NFL failures. Things we were short shots we thought may have had fall flat on their face, and some things that came out of the woodwork and we didn't see coming at all. So let's go around the room real quick and let's talk about biggest surprises and unexpected NFL fails. Let's who let you down and who surprised you. Let's start with Alex. Let's go back in reverse order this time. Let's talk about what you felt like was a shocker to you, one way or the other.
Yeah, I mean, I won't try to take the low hanging fruit as hitting lead off on this segment. I'd say one big shocker for me, even though they did win, but it was the way the Bengals won, and just how bad they looked against the Browns. Offensive. What they have 6 yards of offense or something, and 7 yards in the second half, and still won the game. That was crazy. And then, honestly, I thought that the Cardinals would beat the Saints a lot more handily than they did, and that was kind of a. I guess not unexpected failures because they did win the game, but the manner with which both of those teams won, I was like, that's not a great outlook for the whole season. If, that's a game you put up in week 1 against what's supposed to be 2 pretty lackluster teams, for 2025.
Gotcha. Okay. Good stuff. All right. Young RG, Robert Garcia, what you got over there?
Yeah, I'm going to piggyback a little bit off what AG said about the Bengals because the alarms have to be blaring in Cincinnati. I understand you won the game. Given your recent history or given your history with Burrow as your QB in the first 2 weeks of the season, you will 100% take the win and a division win nonetheless. But like AG mentioned, 7 yards total in the second half. That is inexcusable for a Burrow-led team. Inexcusable.
Yeah, with the amount of money in the
With the
offense.
amount of money they are.
No, just 3 guys.
Yeah, well, that is the offense.
Yeah. And Chase, put some respect on Chase Brown. Chase Brown.
Yeah, well, he's only there until his contract comes up. So
Right, but until it's up,
yeah,
he's still a solid piece. And the thing that blows my mind about it is Burrow had time to throw. The Browns had 3 sacks that game, and all 3 of them came on one drive in the fourth quarter. So, and if you look at the advanced metrics, Burrow had just under, and when I say just under, by like 1/10 of a second, just under 3 seconds to get that ball out. With those weapons, that is more than enough time. And to not get forget getting shut out, you got shut down entirely. That offense was non-existent in the second half. And if it's not because of Brown's continued cursed woes at kicker saving their life,
Right.
Zach Taylor's seat would not only be a little toasty, that thing would be full on flame.
Yeah.
I'll just say that, and to keep my next one short because I had to dive in deep on the Bengals here. Bo Nix is lucky that he has potentially the best defense in the league, and that they were facing a rookie quarterback in his first ever NFL start. Because, man, if they lose that game, Bo Nix is under immense fire, and it's only week 1.
Yeah, good point. Good point. Captain Jack, what you got over there?
Well, I kind of actually said this in the I don't remember if it was the first segment or not, but the double surprises of how putrid Miami looked, how good for one game, mind you, Indianapolis looked. I would also say the Seahawks game with the Niners. I didn't get a chance to see all of it because I was on the road trying to come back. Don't even get me started about trying to leave a stadium and being locked in and then having to miss a train or two. I said it. I'm sorry, but not being able to see all of that, the score. I'm like, oh, the Seahawks are win. Oh, the Seahawks winning. I didn't even realize that the Niners came back. So I don't know if it was a great game or it was just something that I snoozed by. Apologies for not being able to see all of these things because I am on the road. But can I have like a hot take thing? I didn't see it on your lineup. I'm going to shoot it now, if possible. Why the hell did State Farm not give me my NIL rights for the captain commercial with the guy from the friggin' Detroit Lions? That's me. I'm the captain. He's dressed in silver and black. He's all blustery and all this other stuff. F you, State Farm. I want my money, man. That's my NIL you're getting.
Well, you need to talk to the lawyer of the pod.
Like we need to sue.
Yeah.
Hey, Alex, that's money, man. I'm telling you, we should do this.
Yes. What is that? What is defamation of character? What is it? Impersonation? What is it? Something like that.
Let the lawyer figure it out. That's what I'm going to give him some of my money for.
There you go. There you go.
Yeah.
Okay, all right. Okay. Good stuff. Good stuff. All right, Coach McDowell, what you got over there?
I think all of us pretty much were pretty, surprised at the Colts, how they looked. Captain Jack said it all earlier. Just based off of Daniel Jones's performance alone, I thought that they were going to be, a lot worse. So I'll give them a huge shout out for them. I mentioned Aaron Rodgers as well. A lot of surprises based off of, just people that I didn't have much hope for, to be quite honest, coming into the season. And then one surprise that I will say is not really a surprise, but something I keep my eye on is could we possibly have seen the breakout performance of Keon Coleman? He had a really good game against the Ravens. Looked like the premier number 1 receiver, which a lot of people had him as a high ceiling guy. And I won't say, like I said, I'm not surprised because you always saw the potential in it, but maybe, he's finally turned the corner. I hope so. So it was an entertaining game to watch. And as far as, disappointments, I think we mentioned it earlier with two quarterbacks actually, both C.J. Stroud and also Bryce Young. It looked like they're regressing, and Bryce Young looked like he finally turned the corner, and then to go out and have that performance that he had was really disappointing because you root for the kid. He seems like a good guy. That's a team that all of us were high on. So for him to go out and not perform well, it wasn't the fact that they lost, but not perform well was very disappointing. And then C.J. Stroud, we're still looking for him to return back to form for that rookie year. Of course, it was a tough defense, so it's time for him to come back. But he just didn't look like he had a lot of sync, a lot of chemistry with his receivers. I know they're battling a lot of injuries as well. And yeah, it's just you hope to see them bounce back. So I was disappointed to see them perform the way that they did, but at the same time, surprised that we saw guys like Daniel Jones kind of, who knows, maybe he may be the Sam Darnold this year,
Well, I'm not going that far. I just think a birthday tribute and the fact that Miami's so bad, I think it's more so that than bad.
He could be that guy after week 5. Remember
after the Raiders. We got it. We got you covered. Okay. For me, a couple of quick hitters here. Like, I guess you could say what surprised me, in the sense that certain games that you thought would be defensive battles were shootouts. And coupled with the idea, we talked about Aaron Rodgers earlier, but Justin Fields, man, Fields, stellar.
Looked pretty solid.
With a brand new team, brand new coordinator. Looking to be on the same page with Garrett Wilson after 4 or 5 years being apart. Kind of thing. I was very impressed with what he did. I was surprisingly enough they couldn't really eke out the victory, but I mean, it went wire to wire. I mean, he didn't flinch. He answered the bell each time. They drove down and they got points, every possible time they could have gotten them. So I'd expect Pittsburgh and the Jets, who are known for defense, to give up that many points, and for Justin Fields and Aaron Rodgers to look like prime time, mid-season form in week 1. That was one thing that shocked me for sure. Didn't see that coming. Now, who let me down? I mean, well, I got a few things, but I would say, I'm not going to browbeat Ben Johnson too much because he's the first-time head coach. But just the idea of the Ravens and the Bears can't close out games.
Mm-hmm. That's the one I was going to mention, but I thought someone else would. The Ravens.
Oh well, since somebody did it, I'll bring home. And, and I think my more concerning issue is the fact that of John Harbaugh. Like I think that him being such a seasoned coach and having these issues later in life in his NFL coaching career, it shouldn't be a thing. And they've given up games in the past 5 years. They've given up a lot of leads in the fourth quarter, a lot.
They were in 3 scores.
Did you see that stat about them this game? They're the only team in NFL history to rush for over 260 yards and score 40 points and lose.
That part.
Teams were 277-0, I think.
Yeah, 277-0 with the 277-1.
Insane.
That's ridiculous.
Yeah, I knew something that Robert was gonna do. Man, woo! Not bad for the old dude.
It's because we play each other this week, Cap. We're locked in for about a week here.
Okay.
There you go. I like it. Okay. So I think that was the biggest and most glaring thing that, stuck out to me as far as who let me down or what surprised me. And we'll see if those things continue. Hopefully, not for the Ravens and giving up leads. And Ben Johnson, he's still starting out, so we'll give him some grace. But yeah, for sure, looking at them, the Ravens, they got to figure out how to close out games. If they ever want to touch the Super Bowl, not even necessarily win it, but just touch it, you got to close games out for sure. That's for sure.
Do you think, barring getting to a Super Bowl this year, do you think Harbaugh's out?
Oh no.
No.
The
I think
Ravens
he's there until he says he's done.
Right. The Ravens, much like the Steelers, don't get rid of their coach. I think that he's there until he's like Alex said, until he's ready to leave. Yeah, I think he stays.
Ravens fans will certainly be calling for his head if they don't go to a Super Bowl this year.
They're calling for Thomas' head, but they're not going to do it. They're not going to do it.
Yeah.
And the Ravens fans are calling. Yeah, they're calling for his head now.
Yeah. So again, it's one thing to be. It's yes, we're not. Fulfilling the ultimate goal, but we're not trash either. Like we're always competitive and always good. We just, can't seem to, get the monkey off our back, quote unquote, but whatever. So I don't know. But we'll see how things go. But I doubt highly today are on the hot seat, either one of them, in my opinion. Okay. All right. So let's move on down the line here. Let's talk about our cover forecast. Let's talk about our NFL predictions. We got a couple of things here to address when it comes down to what we feel like is going to be the thing this week in regards to our predictions. So starting off with our NFL game positions, who's going to win this week, who's on the upset alert. We in week 2. So let's talk about our games this week. And we had interesting bout last week. Like I said, I lone wolf the Buccaneers, and I did land that one. But some interesting games on the docket here is a 4-pack here. So Commanders versus Packers. Packers are favored by 3.5 at home. I did get the home teams right this week, Cap. All the home teams on the right. So I did get that right this week. So yeah, Commanders at Packers. Packers by 3.5. Falcons at Vikings. Vikings 4.5. Eagles are on the road, but at 1.5 favorites against the Chiefs, and the Seahawks at Steelers, and they're 3.5 favorites. So let's start with Coach Mike Dub. Clearly, I don't think we should even let you pick the first game. That should be we just.
I mean,
but you should. Yeah.
Well, obviously, you guys know who I'm pulling for, but I will say, in order for us to win, we're going to have to, tackle well. We're going to have to get pressure on Jordan Love as well. If you looked at the game against Detroit, he looked too comfortable back there. I mean, he had all the time in the world, and his receivers were able to get comfortable, get some chemistry. So we're going to have to get some pressure on him. Defensive line looked very good against the Giants, so hopefully they come out and continue it this week. Tomorrow, actually, is it tomorrow? No, day after tomorrow.
Yeah,
Thursday. Yeah, Thursday. Yeah. It should be a good game though. Looking forward to it.
Okay. All right. So you think they win and cover the Commanders? I should say.
For the record.
Yeah.
Yeah. Sure. Yeah.
Okay. Fair enough. Captain Jack, what do you got from a prediction perspective for Commanders versus Packers?
Man, I tell you, the way the Packers looked and the way that the lethargic Lions looked, they definitely overplayed. Commanders came out and played well. From what I saw, again, I can't see all of these games. I'm like getting rained on for hours on end up in friggin' New England. So I'm soaked, I'm miserable, and I'm pissed off. But I saw that the Commanders played well. I think though that the Commanders are going to give them a better game. That's not saying a lot for the Packers getting a 0.5 over a home field. So I think it might be one of those 1 to 2 point games, and I think that maybe the Packers might be a bit full of themselves.
Oh,
and the Commanders might pull an upset there. I think they played well enough to do it.
Okay. All right. So you think the Packers? Do the Packers think the Packers going to win? Is that what I said? Tough call.
It's too tough to call. If the Packers win, it's going to be a squeaker, just like that fart I had last week.
Yes, if the Packers win, they have to cover. They have to win by 4. So I would say
no. I don't think they're going to win by 4. I said that's why I said I think the Commanders are going to take them to the wire. Maybe a 1 point, maybe a 2 point. So I'd go. I hate money. These. I always go, who's going to frickin' win? Okay, I would say that the Commanders are definitely going to make it a lot closer.
Gotcha. Okay. All right. Good stuff. All right. RG, what you got for the Commanders versus Packers game, Mr. Betting Extraordinaire? If you haven't checked his lockdown line short from last week, he was spot on this week. So
3 for 3 on my player props. Yes, sir. H-Chan scared the hell out of me, but we got it.
I rode with that one too, RG, and I didn't look wrong. So.
No, never doubted it. Never a doubt. For this one, I do like the Packers, and I like the Packers to win by at least 4. So I will take Packers minus 3.5 on this one. I think Micah in his limited reps last week showed you that, again, even in those limited reps, he can wreak havoc on the game. And there's a lot of plays he made last week that don't necessarily show up on the stat sheet, but they are impact plays that, either help teammates or do something to hinder the opponent. So just having that kind of difference maker, and the Commanders don't necessarily have that, that lockdown defensive player, like they have a lot of great solid pieces. But I just don't think they have, that one guy that kind of, strikes fear in the heart of an offense. I do think it'll be close. I don't think it'll be as close as Cap is saying. But I will give it to the Packers. I think they cover here, the 3.5.
Okay. All right. Real HGL, let's give us what you got in this game. Who you taking?
I am echoing RG's take and the Packers covering at the 3.5. I think the Packers are the favorite to be the NFC rep in the Super Bowl at this point until they just fall flat on their face. And like what Cool Kev said, I think Micah gives them the edge. And like in the Giants game, shout out to the three-headed monster they have off the edge. They did get all of them got sacks. So I think Micah with fully entrenched in the Packers now, got his one game under his belt. There's no more chatter about him being too banged up and being on a pitch count. So I think he plays a little, impacts the game a little more than he did against Detroit, or Detroit, as Cap would say.
Detroit. Okay. Yeah, I'm going with the Commanders in the line. I think that no matter who wins, I think this is the 3-point game. So I'm riding with the Commanders in this one. I think that even if the Packers win it, they only win by 3. If the Commanders win, they win by 3. So I'm going with the Commanders in this one for my money. All right, Falcons versus Vikings. The Vikings are favored by 4.5. Now, this is an interesting game because one team snatched the victory out of jaws of defeat, and the other one was vice versa. So
snatching defeat out of the jaws of victory.
There you go. So let's go in reverse order. AG, what you got? Who you got in this game?
I got Vikings. I think they cover too, because I think Brian Flores is going to have some mystical-ish cooked up to mess with Penix. We'll see with Drake London. I think he's going to be playing, but he is banged up. I think McCarthy's going to ride high off of how he closed out the game, and everyone's going to kind of rally around him, and we're going to see a much more potent Vikings offense, throughout the entirety of the game.
Okay. Good stuff. All right. RG, what you got? Who you got in this game?
I'm going, Cool Kev popping it up stealing my thunder right as I'm about to say. Yeah, I'm going with the Falcons in this one. Let me rephrase that. I'm going Falcons plus 4.5 on this one. I think Vikings probably will win this game. I just think they have more talent, better coaching. However, I do think that these are two very formidable defenses. So I see it being a very low-scoring game. I would not be surprised at like a 20-17, 20-23, similar to what the Falcons just had this week against the Buccaneers. I just think that it's kind of very similar teams if you really think about it too. Two young QBs in their second year with not a whole lot of starting experience. Obviously Penix has a little bit more, but in total and in terms of NFL life, not a whole lot of experience. They're still both rookies in their term, in the sense of games played. I love Bijan. I think that running game is going to wear down, the Vikings, but ultimately I do think the Vikings will come away with a win, but give me Falcons plus 4.5.
Okay. All right, Cap, what you got on this game? Frozen? Is he all right over there?
Oh, do we lose Cap? Oh, you're muted though.
Now he's frozen.
Oh.
Nice, frozen and muted.
Right.
You're muted. Can I unmute you?
No.
Oh,
there he was. There
we go.
I swear I'm not muted.
There you go.
You're back.
You're back.
Yeah. Tell me I'm effing muted, man. I can see here if I'm muted or not. Okay.
Yeah, so can I. That's why I said
it. I'm not blind and deaf and dumb. As stated, okay. I think that the Vikings win, but it's not going to be by that 4.5. I mean, the Falcons are a better team than what the Bears are, and I think that it took JJ McCarthy like one quarter to get really into this thing. I think the Falcons are a much better team, and Penix is a decent quarterback. I think Penix actually is a better quarterback right now than what Caleb Williams is, but that's just me.
I think.
I will also say that you got Bijan Robinson, man. He can just run forever. I'm going to take the Vikings to win, maybe, but I definitely think that they're going to cover 4.5. No.
Okay. What's Mike? What you got on this game?
I agree. I think what gives the Vikings an edge is, they're at home on a Sunday night. I think the stadium is going to be rocking. Definitely in the favor of, McCarthy and the rest of their offense. I think they win, but I think it's a close game. They probably get out to a nice little lead. But I think the Falcons have enough talent to keep it close. So I got the Falcons to cover, but the Vikings to win.
Okay. All right. I think this game's going to come down to coaching. Me personally, I think that the coaching is going to win out. I don't think we're giving enough credit to what Kevin O'Connell and Brian Flores have been doing in the past 2 to 3 years. They've been together. I think there's an elite coaching staff on each side of the ball. Kevin O'Connell clearly been a head coach. Brian Flores has been a former head coach and a defensive savant. So I ironically think them being in that Rockets building in Minnesota in that particular environment, I think the Vikings win and cover. I think they win and win out. I think that unfortunately I was high on the Falcons in the preseason, but since they lost their right tackle and their center, I'm a little sketchy. I'm a little skittish. And their defense, their pass rush is just showing up like I thought it might be with them drafting 2 rushers. So I'm still waiting on that. So I think that they might actually start out 0-2. I'm going with the Vikings covering. Big win and covering for me. All right. I don't think we need to talk about Alex about the Chiefs game. I think we know what he's doing. But if you'd like to give any analysis of why you're going, where you're going and why, please give us your
honestly, I was sitting here battling how I should say this. Should I say this as a Chiefs fan or as an unbiased person who might be putting money on the game? And I think for the purpose of this segment, I probably got to take the latter approach. And I probably think the Eagles win this game and probably cover. So I didn't really like what we saw in week 1 from the Chiefs, and unless they come out totally different, I think it's going to be a rough day for them in Arrowhead, which sucks to say. But
right. But I will say this: that what they should be able to do, because their run defense is very stout. They should be able to limit their run game.
Yeah.
But we'll see how things roll. But I see what you're doing there. I see where you're going there. All right, Coach Mike Dell, what you got on this game? How you feel about the Eagles versus Chiefs?
I'm actually going to take the Chiefs because of the fact that I think they'll be able to stop the run. And also, the thing that was their Achilles heel in the Super Bowl was the Eagles pass rush, which seemed to be a problem this year. So I think if Mahomes had some time, I think he may carve them up. I'm going to take the Chiefs.
Okay. Captain Jack, what you got?
Don't shoot me. But I think that the way that Mahomes played the other night, the Eagles secondary, is not all that in a biscuit, because I tell you, the Eagles secondary, they were like had to foul a bunch of the guys just to, they were just flagged and holding and all the other stuff. They look putrid. Okay.
Dory Jackson especially.
Yeah, Mitchell got I don't know how many PIs.
Right. And then the guy that they traded for, Jacorian Bennett, I know of, and he was our best corner, but he was just midget small, which is why we dealt him. He goes out and he gets torched as well. Oh God, please, Lord, please forgive.
Spray it.
Pray for better Wi-Fi.
I think the Chiefs win. As much as I want them to be 0-2, I think the only saving grace for the Eagles, as well as the Raiders, is the fact that the Chiefs and the I got to say it once, Coach, the Garglers, is that they both have that mini what do you call it? Time
mini buy
drag from going from Brazil home. But I think that the Chiefs are going to be. Remember, they're on a shorter week though, but they're going to win. And again,
they actually got an extra 2 days. So they play on Friday and they don't play again on Sunday.
Yeah.
So.
Right. Well,
Eagles played on Thursday.
I said the Gargoyles
got extra
too. The Chiefs. The Chiefs got one less day.
One less day, yeah.
One less day, yeah. But I still think that that time lapse is going to hurt them, and the Eagles secondary is going to hurt them. And if the Eagles defensive line isn't all that in the biscuit, and they better hope that Carter doesn't spit on anybody,
wow.
Then hey, Chiefs at home.
Okay, all right, Young RG, bring it home. What you got?
Yeah, this one was a tough one. Personally, like my head and everything in my football brain is telling me that the Eagles win this game. Staying the hell away from these point spreads. They're all traps. The Ravens-Bills game last week was also a 1.5 point spread before that game. And that one turned into a nightmare for bettors very, very late in the fourth quarter.
Right. It'd be a 1 point game, 1 point victory.
Exactly. Yeah. And I really do think that this game has the potential for both teams to just be neck and neck, and a 1 point victory wouldn't surprise me one bit. But my heart is telling me that there's no way that Andy Reid lets his Chiefs start 0-2. Chiefs haven't started 0-2 since 2014, which is 2 years after Reid got there.
It was the second year.
So second year. So a year after Reid got there. Yeah, he hasn't done that since. And I truly don't feel like Mahomes is also going to let this team fall to 0-2. I'm going to take the Chiefs on this one. I'm going to stick with my preseason. During the preseason, I did a full, 162 games or however many games there are in the NFL prediction. And I do have the Chiefs beating the Eagles, just like I had them losing to the Chargers last week. So I'm gonna stick with my guns and say Chiefs squeak this one out.
I will note Mahomes is 13-3 coming off of a loss, so I guess they had that going.
There you go.
Isn't it amazing that Robert just had to say, much like I picked them to lose to my Chargers last week, one more time?
Oh yeah.
I just had to get one more little. We don't play them until like week 12 again, so it's going to be a long break between the smack talk.
And Arrowhead.
All right, yeah, it's a tough one for me. I think they have Darius Smith now, with Nolan Smith now. Hopefully they maybe they get Azeez Ojulari back. I thought they brought him in for that particular purpose, to be a DPR, designated pass rusher. It's all predicated on a pass rush, I believe. I think that they can torment Mahomes like they did in the Super Bowl with that different group. Darius Smith can be a difference maker along with Nolan Smith and Jalen Carter pushing them in the middle. That's the recipe. When you got mobile quarterbacks this day and age, you surround them with edge rushers, you box them in, and then you let them get pressure up the middle to corral them and don't let them get out. So if they can do that, then they'll give Mahomes a long way to go. There'll be a long day for him. But if they can't pressure him, I think that the Chiefs could ultimately win this game, man. As David Worry plays, does he not? That shoulder's kind of banged up. He's frail. I don't know. It's a weird thing. I mean, you got two frail wide receivers, in my opinion. Hollywood and Xavier both.
Yeah, it's not a good mix there. No.
They're both fragile guys. So, so it'll be interesting to see how they tread water between now and the time Rashee Rice comes back. But it's a tough one for me, man. But I think based on the line, I'm going to take Chiefs. I'm not sure if they'll win or not, but I'm going to say it's a 1 point game either way again. I think that I'm just going to go with the Chiefs here for my money. All right, last game of the week. Seahawks at Steelers, and the Steelers are favored by 3.5. We'll go to Mike Dub first.
Well, as the saying goes, fool me once, shame on me. Fool me twice, can't get fooled again.
Hold on.
Yeah.
You might have botched that one there, Coach.
There's an old saying in Tennessee, I know it's in Texas, probably in Tennessee, that says, fool me once, shame on you. If fool me, we can't get fooled again.
There you go.
There we go.
I thought a J. Cole song was about to start playing.
He was doing the Who, man. I won't be fooled again.
Right.
That being said, I'm taking the Steelers, man. They made me a believer week 1. So
Okay.
I'm going to take the Steelers. And I'm taking the cover as well.
I like it. Cap Jack, what you got?
I'm gonna take the Steelers. I mean, they played rather well, didn't they? And they got a quarterback. I can't remember his name. Not that he's ever been in the limelight for anything. The Seahawks coming in there. Yeah, I just think that it's going to be too much Adobe weed smoking Quonset Hut boy and whoever else he's throwing to. I don't remember who their running backs are because I know they gave away Najee to somebody.
Yeah, you're right.
And I don't know. I honestly don't know who their running backs are.
Jalen Warren and Caleb Johnson.
Okay, again,
And Kenneth Gainwell.
Oh yeah, that's okay.
Yeah, these guys are household names, man.
Right.
Household names. But that dope smoking guy's got some receivers to throw to, so I'll take the Steelers.
Dallas. Okay. Young RG, what you got over there?
Yeah, man, this should be a Steelers. I got a Steelers easy victory here. I really don't like what the Seahawks got going on over there. I think 3.5 is easily coverable for the Steelers. I think that defense, you almost have to expect it to come around, just based off the history of that franchise and the history of Tomlin. And you put up 30+ in your week 1, Aaron Rodgers Steelers debut. So vibes are at an all-time high. I know the Seahawks do got a nice defense and they got a really nice secondary. If you're asking me who I trust more to lead their team to victory, Sam Darnold or Aaron Rodgers, that question already sounds kind of stupid. So I think with that, I'm going to go with the Steelers covering easily. So yeah, Steelers -3.5.
All right. Real AG, what you got over there?
Yeah, I echo what everyone else said, especially RG. I think it's an easy Steelers victory. Sam Darnold looked like New York Jets, Carolina Panthers, 49ers Sam Darnold, not Vikings Sam Darnold, against what's supposed to be not that great of a 49ers defense. And I think especially Steelers, I mean, we know they have a solid pass rush core, they have a solid defense, and then they've added to their secondary. So I think they're going to create some turnovers off Darnold, and we see a little bit of the same offensive prowess they had against the Jets. So yeah, I'm taking the Steelers to win pretty handily in this.
Yeah, with TJ Watt lining up on that right side, and if they're out of their 2 tackles, the one that's not as good as the other is the right tackle. So yeah, I think TJ Watt is going to have a field day. And Alex Highsmith, being single up as well, should eat as well. Sam Darnold isn't slow, but he isn't Lamar Jackson. So might be a long day for old Sam. It sucks because he's my
ghost.
Yeah, he's my super flex quarterback. I might have to figure that out, but that's a whole conversation for another day. Yeah, I'm going with Steelers in this one as well. I think they win and cover for sure. For sure. All right, so we got our picks in. So let's wrap up the show. Let's talk about some hot takes, man. If anybody got any hot takes that you want to talk about this week or going forward, since week 1 is in the books and we've got a sample size of what the NFL season is going to look like. Let's start with the real AG. You got any hot takes that you want to break the news of this week?
I mean, I don't know if this is overly hot based on how we've been kind of dumping on this team heading into the regular season, but I think the Bears beat the Lions, and Lions start 0-2, and then we start really hitting the panic button on them as they're 0-2 in their division.
Oh, that's not a bad one. That's not a bad one. Okay. All right, Young RG, what you got over there? You got anything that's hot brewing in your pot?
Oh, I got a couple. Which one do you want here first? You want the lemon pepper, a little bit of tang, or you want that full on spicy habanero?
I'm a lemon pepper man. I don't like spicy food, so give me the lemon pepper first.
You want the lemon pepper? All right, lemon pepper take for this week. Colts come out of nowhere and win that division. Anthony Richardson is traded by the deadline.
Wow.
Full on Indiana Jones time,
Damn.
baby. Oh,
well,
yeah.
We'll see. They're playing the Broncos this week, so if anyone's going to return him to Crap Jones.
If that's the lemon pepper, I don't know what the habanero is. I want to
give us the ghost reaper.
What is the habanero?
You ready for this one?
Oh, I'm not sure. Let me hold my seat.
Caleb Williams' ceiling is Zach Wilson.
Wow.
Because if Ben Johnson can't unlock this guy, Chicago fans, you are in for a world of hurt. With JJ McCarthy doing that to you, JJ McCarthy just walked up to Caleb and bitch slapped him and took his lunch money, because that was diabolical. What happened?
Slapped him and took his lunch money.
Yeah, right. That's funny. That is hilarious. Okay. All right. Woo. Yeah, that's spicy. That's a spicy meatball there, buddy. Oh man. Captain Jack, I'm not sure what you can do to follow that up.
Ice off of that one, but
yeah. I don't know how much spicier you can get, but try your best. Is he frozen again?
He might be frozen again.
He's not moving.
We needed the heat, and he brought the ice, man. Come on.
Yeah, you're stuck. Yeah, you're lagging. You're in time lapse. He's busy talking. Man. We can't hear anything. Got nothing.
You're muted, my good sir.
You better not tell him that, dude.
He hears us. Oh, what happened?
Oh no,
we lost. We lost Cap. All right, Coach Mike Dub. What you got over there?
So I got two. First one is this is the last week we will see Russell Wilson at quarterback.
Wow. Okay.
I wasn't sure. I wasn't sure if he was going to make it through the half last week. Just because number one, he was getting beat up. Number two, he didn't look good. So I think this is the last week that we see Russell Wilson, which might not be too much of a shock. And the second one I have might not be too much of a shock to a lot of people after last week either. Is I think Mike McDaniel is the first coach out this year.
Oh yeah, I'm definitely riding that wave.
He'll be the first coach out yet. I don't know what week yet, but he will be the first coach out. It's a complete dumpster fire in my
opinion. It really is.
It's on the field and off the field.
Over under on which week he gets fired? 9.5.
Yeah.
9.5. Y'all put in your bets now.
I don't think he makes it that far.
I got to be before the trade deadline, because I bet they're going to be asked to sell off their team, fire McDaniel, and see where how they can get to number one.
Absolutely, he's completely lost that locker room. It's just it's bad. It's bad. So yeah, he'll be the first one out. I don't think he makes it to week 9. So I say the under on week 9, and I say week 3 we see Jackson Dart as a starting quarterback.
There you go. Okay. All right. Yeah, I did. I'm gonna have to let RG go last next time. But Cap, are you back? What you got over there?
Can you hear me now?
Oh, we good now. You're crispy now.
Yeah, it was the internet. Did you see this before I went?
No, we sure did
see that.
Well, there's an extra one then, just to make sure.
I wasn't sure if that was your way of calling it a night or not.
Well, hey, you guys are number one to me. There you go. Hey, Mamma Mia. I was just gonna say, a hot take. I don't know when the Bears have their bye week, but I would say that maybe Caleb Williams gets relieved by then. Tyson Bagent comes in, and I can hear something like Chris Tucker saying like, "How can you get fired on your day off?" One of those type of things.
Ironically enough, it's after the Raiders game. That's their bye week.
There you go. So the Raiders are the kryptonite killers for Caleb Williams. They can continue to be sucky until week 5, and week 5 is their bye week. He might be fired then.
Okay, well, I was on the bench. Wow, for Tyson Bagent. That's a hot one.
They did pay him $10 million, so
they did. They did.
Back him around in some capacity.
For a reason.
Gave him a solid contract.
Could be one of those.
He was crying about it.
Sean Payton, Russell Wilson situations where he just eats the contract on Caleb and rides the backup. Yeah, it could be that.
Well, they haven't given him an extension yet, so eating the cap on Caleb is way better than
way better than Russ's. Yes, you're right about that.
Easier to move on from him for sure.
Yeah, we may need to focus that over onto the Dolphins because what was it? $92 million is the dead cap.
Not good.
Not good at all.
Couldn't happen to a better team. Man. Can't stand
Talk about it. Okay. I'm looking at this Titans Rams game like I might have the Rams on upset alert if the Titans receivers catch this week. If Cal is play, especially simply the fact that he don't got to face that Broncos secondary. Because I think the Broncos secondary contributed to those drops.
Yeah.
But you don't have to play the Broncos secondary. If they can catch the ball this week, they might upset the Rams because they're at home again. They're in Tennessee again for 2 weeks in a row. So I think that them at home giving Cam Ward another week against that Rams defense where the secondary isn't as good as the Broncos. I think the Rams will upset alert, man. We'll see.
I almost said that.
Oh, see.
I thought about it.
Great minds think alike.
Yeah.
Great minds think alike. So yeah, I think that's one of those things that could ultimately happen. And I swear, if the Bengals start off and lose to the Jags in Cincinnati this week, and Jamar Chase has another stinker, I'm gonna cry. I'm gonna cry. But yeah, that's all I got. That's all I got. So any parting words, gentlemen, before we get to our outros?
I'm gonna give y'all one last upset bet of the week. Saints plus 6.5. Niners are injured to all hell.
They are. Take it now. Jump in now before the line changes.
Yep.
Yeah, I think it's already changed.
Is it already changed now? Yeah, because obviously Kittle's already out. As soon as they announce Purdy's gone, that line's gonna plummet. Juwan Jennings is a hard maybe. Yeah.
4.5 now.
4.5. Wow.
That's 2 points just with that news. There you go.
And I made those notes at the beginning of the show. So in the span of an hour and 40.
I am looking at ESPN, so I mean, I don't know.
Right.
Yeah.
I don't know how that works.
You might be able to get it for different lines, different places, but the biggest line you can get, hammer that spread for the Saints this week.
I like it. All right. Okay. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we appreciate you indulging us for this time on the Lockdown Blitz Week 2. If you're looking for the gang, looking for the hit squad, here's our socials here. Commanders Insider Mike Dub, Chiefs Insider Alex Givers, and the Chargers Insider Robert Garcia Young RG. If you need to hit them up with any questions, NFL or team related, please do so. If you're looking for our Lockdown Diva Sports Network, here are all our socials. Hit us up in any platform, any social media platform that you have. All the popular ones are here. We're Lockdown Diva Sports on every platform except Twitter. We're Lockdown Defense. We're Lockdown Diva Sports at Gmail. And we have 2 subsidiary channels that we're sponsoring. The Lecture Shock Podcast for Chargers content. Myself and Young RG are doing content over there for Chargers news, everything Chargers related. You can reach us there at Lecture Shock Pod on all platforms. And if you look for any fantasy football advice, Lightning Fast Fantasy Football Podcast is live tomorrow night at 9 p.m. on that channel. Lightning Fast FF on all platforms. Check that out. Check us out on any social medias. Follow us there and follow us on the YouTube channel. Hit the subscribe button on any of these platforms and support the network. And man, we're doing big things out there. And we'll have our NFL Nation Live graphics for next week, so you can hit those guys up as well. But Ref_Guru on Twitter. We got Captain Jack Rackham on Twitter as well. He's there. And Violator, I mean, he's so famous, I don't think we need to plug his social, but we'll do it anyway. We'll get that rolling. But yeah. But that is all our information there. So, like I said, it's been a great show. I want to thank all of my esteemed colleagues here for indulging us throughout this time, man. And we'll be back next week, as always, Tuesday night, 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, each and every week throughout the NFL season, 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, right here on this channel. The Lockdown Defense Blitz is live. And as always, man, you got to do one thing and one thing well. You got to step up to lock it down.